Each year, the World Economic Forum drops its Global Risks Report, and it's always a big deal, a real deep dive into the major threats facing all of us. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that global noise and focus on what this latest report really means for the business community right here in Australia and New Zealand. And just so we're all on the same page, everything we're about to talk about comes directly from that 21st edition of the report. We've specifically been tasked with zeroing in on the bits that are most likely to affect businesses in the ANZ sector. You know, the report really doesn't pull any punches. It kicks off with this line right here. It immediately sets this tone of, well, urgency and instability. It's a pretty clear signal that the challenges we're facing are serious, and frankly, they need our full attention. So before we can really get a handle on the local impact, we've got to understand the global stage that's being set. What does this precipice actually look like from, say, a 30,000-foot view? Well, what's really striking here is just how pessimistic the outlook is. I mean, look at this. Half of the global experts they surveyed are bracing for a turbulent or stormy couple of years. And that feeling only gets worse when they look out over the next decade. Now check out that tiny little sliver on the chart. Just 1%, that's it, 1% thinks things will be calm. That's a huge consensus on uncertainty. So you're probably asking, why all the negativity? Well, the report points to this massive shift. The whole era of global cooperation we got used to, it's kind of fading. And it's being replaced by a much more fragmented and competitive world where it's every nation for itself. And that brings us to the #1 global risk for the next 2 years, something called geoeconomic confrontation. Now, this isn't just your standard trade dispute. Nope. This is the deliberate weaponization of the economy, using things like tariffs, sanctions, and even control over supply chains as tools of foreign policy. Okay, so the world is competitive, it's confrontational. Got it. But how does that global storm actually feel on the ground for businesses here in Australia and New Zealand? Let's zoom right in and get the view from down under. And this is where it gets really interesting for us. The report has this executive opinion survey, which is fantastic because it gives us this really specific, localized view. So this isn't just some global theory. This is what business leaders in our own backyard are actually losing sleep over right now. And wow, this table just lays out our local realities so clearly. Take a look at #1. Both Australia and New Zealand share the exact same top risk, an economic downturn. No real surprise there. But it's what's underneath that's so telling. You can see Australia is super concerned with supply chains and infrastructure. New Zealand, on the other hand, they're more focused on things like a lack of economic opportunity and even a decline in public health. So now let's start connecting those local fears back to that big global picture. How does a confrontational world translate into a sleepless night for a CEO in ANZ? Well, it all starts with just trying to get goods in and out of the country. And here's the link, plain as day. When those major global powers start using trade as a weapon, that whole geoeconomic confrontation we just talked about, well, nations like ours, which really depend on imports, we feel it almost immediately. It means more uncertainty at our ports and a lot more volatility on our store shelves. And you can really see how much this is weighing on people's minds when you look at the numbers. For Aussie business leaders, it is their #2 biggest worry. For New Zealand, it's still sitting there firmly in the top 5. So this isn't some minor headache, it's a core strategic threat. All right, moving on from what's coming into the country, let's talk about what keeps the country running. This is another huge concern, especially for Australia and the wider region, the very foundations of our economy. Yeah, critical infrastructure can sound a bit abstract, but it's not. It's the roads you drive on, the grid that powers your home, the water systems we all rely on. And as you can see, a lot of it is getting old, and it's under massive pressure from new demands and a changing climate. Its stability is just essential for everything. And this isn't just an Australian worry, by the way. If you look across all of Oceania, disruptions to critical infrastructure rank as the 6th biggest threat. It's a shared vulnerability, a challenge for the entire region that really underpins our ability to function, let alone grow. Okay, so the picture is definitely challenging, but the report isn't all doom and gloom. It's also about being prepared. So how can businesses actually navigate this new, more competitive era? And this really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It's the key question for the path forward. If the old ways of doing things, of global cooperation, are breaking down, what comes next? Can we find new ways to work together, even with our rivals, to solve these huge problems? So the big takeaway here is that businesses are not helpless. The report actually points to several things companies can do right now. They can diversify their supply chains. That's a direct answer to that number 2 risk in Australia. They can work with the government to upgrade that critical infrastructure we were just talking about. And of course, building for new climate realities and locking down cybersecurity, well, those are just table stakes for long-term survival. And really, that's what it all boils down to. The global landscape has changed, maybe for good. The risks are clear, from economic headwinds to those fragile supply chains. The challenge now isn't just to brace for impact, but to fundamentally rethink your strategy for a world where the old rules just don't seem to apply anymore. How will you adapt?